It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that one and done train. What a start to the college basketball season it's been, and we are happy that you have joined us tonight as we celebrate what has been an amazing first week. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. My name is Jay Heinrich and I happen to be the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. At Dr. William Cannon on X, at One and Done CBB is where you can find the show page. I am joined tonight by the comma chaser himself. You can call him the OG Money Mike, but around here he's known as El Capitan himself. At MC Holland 34 on X, it's Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, week one in the books. What it do?
Hey man, we both had a nice some nice DFS performances. I got the old big jam yesterday. You took down the One and Done Invitational. Had a pretty nice night on what was that? Was that Friday? So
Friday.
yeah, it's been pretty nice in DFS streets. The bets have been on fire. Went 3 out of 4 today on Prize Picks. We were 4 for 4 on Saturday. So yeah, it's been a really good start on the gambling side. And then yeah, it's just been an amazing week, first week. So excited to we got a busy schedule this week. We got DFS tomorrow. We got couple of live reaction shows, which those are going pretty awesome. We've done 2 of them. Both have gone over 1,000 views, gotten us up to 1,649 subs, Jay. So that's awesome stuff, man. Excited to continue to do what we've been doing, man.
No doubt about it. And what do you know? The liveliest live chat in all of college basketball is already on fire. Our guy, Cam, CT Huggin, C Thuggin hopping in there. And of course, Darren letting us know that, yeah, we're stacking the Benjis. The rubber band's going to break. And that's the whole idea around here. We're chasing commas. And but tonight is not a DFS show if you're watching live. And if you're watching later, we appreciate you either way. Make sure you hit all those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Hop in that live chat with Darren and Cam. But yeah, tonight, news and notes, no DFS. We're going to do a little bit of a new segment here tonight. Why don't we get right to it, Mike? Going to intro the new segment. Always evolving here. Tonight, it's the debut of the opening possession. That's right. Mike and I will each have a few takeaways from the week. And with that being said, the captain will lead us off.
Yeah, so I'm going to fire up a 3 on my first possession and give 3 takes here. Yesterday's game between Alabama and St. John's was incredible. I tweeted about it. Like, it was just one of the most electric environments for early season college basketball that you're going to see. This Alabama backcourt is definitely the real deal, man. Phylon, Holloway, Reitzel was awesome to see him back, even though he got nicked up again, but he was able to come back in. They're just going to make it tough every possession on opposing defenses. I thought the front court would be something that would hold Alabama back, in particular the 5 spot. They didn't get much from Sherrell and Noah Williamson. I tweeted out, I don't understand it, but he's there. Gave him, I think, 10 minutes. But the 4 spot was money. Taylor Bowen is an absolute stud. Amari Allen, the freshman, he looked really nice. So regardless, these guards have Florida-type vibes, man, from last year. So that's a big thing for Bama. My second take here, Michigan State has a limited ceiling, man. They got the W against Arkansas at home, but the outside shooting is going to be a problem this year. They don't really have anybody that can hit an outside shot. And it kind of reminds me of St. John's last year, where they're going to be great defensively. And they have Tom Izzo, which is great. It's just hard to win in March that way. So Michigan State, although when we do our power rankings, might get a little bit of a bump. I just don't know about the total ceiling that they have there. And my final take, UCLA, a slow start, man. Slow not only in a 6-point victory over Eastern Washington and an 11-point victory over Pepperdine, but also slow as in tempo, 349. I thought this team, to have his ceiling-type success, Cronin would have to play faster with Donovan Dent. That does not seem to be the case. So I am a little bit worried about UCLA. You're probably going to see them slide down in our top 25 power rankings that are unveiled at the end of the show. Jay,
that's a tease.
What are you firing up, man? You posting up for an easy 2, man? Or what are you doing here on your first possession?
No, I'm firing up a 3 also, and it'll be a quick 3. The kids are all right, Mike. It felt like the star power of last year's freshman class would be a tough act to follow. But this year's group look every bit the part and then some. Cam Boozer didn't have his best night shooting, but still had 15 and 13 against Texas, and then went for 25, 8, and 5 against Western Carolina. Koa Pete, one of the best opening nights maybe ever. 30 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a win over Florida, and then follow that up with 18, 3, and 3. We broke down North Carolina's their second game against Kansas here. Caleb Wilson looked every bit the star. 24.7 boards, 4 dimes. He was drawing fouls, showing off the vision, getting into passing lanes, turnaround Jays at the elbow and the baseline. Everything looks easy for Caleb Wilson. And then in the same game, Darren Peterson, I mean, he scored over 20 for the second consecutive game to start his college career. All those guys passed the eye test, Mike, and will be fun to watch all season long. But I want to get back to Caleb Wilson in North Carolina. Great win over Kansas, obviously, but unfortunate news today being reported that Seth Trimble
Yeah.
broke a bone in his forearm in a team workout,
Ooh.
undergoing surgery later in the week. So, going to assume that Jonathan Powell steps into that starting 5 role. Bogovac will be asked to do more. Last game, 4 guys off the bench, scored 11 points, 6 boards, and had 1 dime in 40 bench minutes against Kansas. Derek Dixon did not score in that game, and he's a freshman that I didn't mention earlier, but he was a top 50 recruit nationally in this year's class. So he'll have no choice, Mike, but to grow up real quick in Trimble's absence. I questioned UNC's depth during our reaction show and got little pushback there from Tar Heels fans, but it's going to immediately be tested. And then one more quick one here. Buckyball, Texas A&M, slow out of the gate against the Steve Lutz coached Oklahoma State, and they Aggies never recovered. Shot 32% from the field, 9 of 35 from deep, 16 turnovers. Marcus Hill led the way with 14. Federico, Fetty Fed, the guy is so nice they named him twice. 0 points in 21 minutes. He'll be better, and so will the Aggies. Darren, yeah, Aggies and Bucky Stick. Hey, all right, that's okay. Only it's week 1, man. We'll dial it back a little bit there. Dragon, what's up, Dragon? Saying Phylon might be the best point guard in the SEC this
I mean, it's probably
year.
a good chance. He's probably going to be a first-round pick. So, yeah, there's a pretty good chance of that.
No doubt about it. Keep the live chat rolling. Good to see you in there, Dragon, and good to see Darren and Cam in there as well. But that'll close up the first ever opening possession segment there on One and Done. Shout out to everybody that was here tonight for the opener. Good job. You could say that there won't be T-shirts or anything koozies handed out that said you were at the first one, but you'll just have to tell everybody, and they'll believe you. They'll believe you. Hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Tell a hoophead in your life about One and Done. Hit those subscribe buttons, notification bells. We're going live a couple more times this week on reaction shows. We're going to give you a DFS show as well. You're not going to want to miss anything that we're doing. So hit it all right now. Hey, we had a brand new segment on the show tonight, and now we're going to have a nice callback to an older segment, one that we used to do on the show back in the day. It feels like we just do it once in a blue moon, but it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the mid-major minute.
Yes, Jay, back with another mid-major minute here. And I got 3 mid-major conferences I want to tell you about, man. So the Sun Belt here with Troy and Marshall. The Troy Trojans, led by Scott Cross, they're off to a 2-0 start with impressive wins over Kent State and Furman. Sophomore guard Cooper Campbell, man, been sensational, is averaging 20 points, 5.5 boards, 5.5 assists, and 3 steals in the first couple of games. And you also have big man Thomas Dowd, who has been a force on the glass for nearly 10 rebounds a game and protecting the rim with over a block in each contest here. You got the Marshall Thundering Herd, led by Cornelius Jackson, man, also off to a strong non-con start. They have wins over UMass and Toledo. They got 5 guys averaging double figures, led by senior Wyatt Fricks. He's averaging 15.5 points, and he's definitely making the most of his patience, man. He's been a bench piece for the last 4 years. 6-year guard Jalen Spears averaging 5 assists, while 7'4" transfer center Matthew Van Komen is swatting everything inside, averaging 2.5 blocks per game. Both teams look to be contenders in the Sun Belt. We'll shift over to the Big West and Cal Baptist, the Lancers, led by Coach Rick Croy. They're showing early in the year that they're going to be a real threat to Utah Valley over here in the WAC, man. So, Cal Baptist in the Big West in the WAC here. They picked up 2 KenPom top 200 wins against USC Upstate and Big West juggernaut UC Irvine. It's no secret senior guard Dominic Daniels Jr. could score the ball coming into the year, having averaged 19 points per game in his first 2 years with the Lancers. But not only is he averaging 19 through the first couple of games, but he's nearly doubled his career assist total here. He's almost at 6 dimes over the first couple of contests. An X factor to watch is senior guard Martell Williams. He's really shown the ability to be a strong secondary option. And we'll shift over to the Patriot League to finish this out. The Bucknell Bison lost a key piece last year with Noah Williamson, who is now with the aforementioned Alabama. He was the Patriot Player of the Year. But Coach John Griffin, he has them off to a fast start, 2-0, wins over Delaware and Mount St. Mary's. A big reason why, 6'11" international freshman big Amon Dories, he's averaging 17.5 points per game to start the year. He and Ruit Bijek, the forward, averaging 14.5 points per game. They're providing the Bison with a formidable front court duo that can score inside and outside. It's very dangerous there in the Patriot League. If the sophomore point guard Jaden Williams can continue his strong play, watch out for this team once again in the Patriot. And that was the first segment of the Mid-Major Minute. It's back.
There we
That feels
go.
good. That music feels good, man.
There we go. Good to have the Mid-Major Minute back. Always good to hear Mike's takes on the mid-majors. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Good to see Darren keeping the chat rolling. Dragon, of course, up in there as well. Our guy Cam doing his thing. He took some time away from, collecting all the money on his single stat DraftKings wins. Shout out to him. And Randy chiming in saying that the mid-major
Appreciate
minute
that,
segment is
Randy.
great. Hey, showing love.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. The greatest segment of all time, maybe ever in the history of anything,
Yeah.
most likely.
Sorry to the WAC final year, man. Had to get Cal Baptist, put him in the old Big West, man. In the WAC right now, with 6 other teams. But hey, man, you get the gist. We picked it up. But love that segment.
No doubt about it. Hit all those buttons if you haven't already. And now it's time for the official power rankings. We gave our initial rankings. Was that a couple of weeks ago? It feels like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It feels like it's been forever. But now it's time for, that we have our preseason power rankings. So the adjustments, the plus and minuses and all that stuff that you see will be from those original rankings here. And we're going to start off with teams 25 through 21 in our power rankings. A couple of teams joining for the first time this year, and then one team there, Mike, a big old drop. And of course, we sort of had, you do this, and then I'll tell my Kansas bit after that. But what are your thoughts on this, on these 5 teams on the screen?
Yeah, so the couple of newcomers, man, Vandy and Wisconsin entering the picture. Vandy elite offensively, which we've been talking about all offseason, 5th in offensive efficiency in the country to start the year. They scored 100-plus points in the first couple of games. And then Wisconsin, the team that was on the fringe, it was like between them and Creighton as to who we were going to, have in that preseason top 25. Well, they've looked pretty good and equally impressive, man. They dropped 96 on Campbell, 97 on Northern Illinois this week. Jay, Kansas fan, big fallers here. Some concerns. We had them around 22-23 in the offseason when we did it back in May. It was either May or June. Preseason, we liked what we saw in the preseason, especially from Darren Peterson. But they need we talked about live reaction. They need a second guy. Most nights it's going to be Badunga, but man, I need somebody else in the backcourt so Peterson can get some rest, right? He's not going to be able to log all 40 minutes. So that's going to be a big question mark for Kansas, so sliding them down. The Michigan State, we talked about them and their in the opening possession. Just a limited ceiling, but a nice win at home over Arkansas. I mean, it's Tom Izzo, right? He's going to get W's, but yeah, they're still worried about that ceiling there, man. What are your thoughts here in this year?
I think a lot of people, just like we did when it came to Kansas, saw Peterson in the preseason and bump them up a couple of spots just like we did. But in reality, this is probably about where they belong right now, and we'll need to see a little bit more consistency out of the Jayhawks for sure. The next 5 teams, 20 through 16. On our power rankings. Another team that's hopping in there with a big drop. That's obviously Arkansas, as a boom right there on the screen, and UCLA as well. A couple of teams with big drops here. What are your thoughts on these 5, Mike?
Yeah, so I mean, you look at it here, Arkansas and UCLA taking that slide. The Razorbacks, man, it's just Cal, man. We were talking about how they could probably be in the top 5 after the first few weeks, and here they are sliding down a bunch of spots. But it's really Cal's got to figure it out, right? Like last year, it took them till what 10, 15 games uh, toward the end of the season there to get it going, and then they end up in the Sweet 16. My issue is like, and I don't think this is how they're going to profile because they do have outside shooting, man. They just got young players in the backcourt shooting 30% from three on the year so far, and then lots of turnovers, 14 on the road. So yeah, as they get more experience, that backcourt gets more experience. I expect them to climb back up our rankings here. UCLA, we mentioned, kind of them just moping around, dragging, barely getting some wins here, some scarier contest than what you'd expect, but they have kind of the same issues. They're only shooting 28% from three, and that's a team where we thought, man, this could be a top 10 team offensively based on their roster. Now, Eric Daly's been out, so we'll take that into consideration. It's so early, man. So these teams are going to slide up and down. We're not going to see as big of dramatics as we get into like week 3, 4, 5. Man, we knew that Tennessee was going to be elite defensively. The question mark was who's going to score the ball, right, without Lanier and Connect. But looks like Nate Ament, he's the real deal. Another freshman, man. He's 5th on the KenPom Player of the Year chart. So we saved him to talk about him during this segment here. But, Jay, can't wait for this Louisville-Kentucky game coming up on Tuesday. We're going to live react on that one. We don't really have much of a take on Louisville so far, but we'll definitely have one after that game.
There's so many freshmen that I didn't even talk about.
Oh, there's so many good freshmen.
Right? Like, it's
so deep, man.
It's a very deep freshman class. Ament is one of those guys for Tennessee for sure. Good stuff there. That's 10 down on our power rankings there, the bottom 10 and the 25. How about we move on now to the old right in the middle of that sandwich, okay, right there, teams 11 through 15 in our power rankings. And again, there's going to be some fluctuation here, Mike, especially with teams that are finding ways to just look as impressive as North Carolina did, like jumping up 9 spots from our preseason power rankings here to number 13, and Gonzaga making a big jump as well. So these are some teams all in this area that could all definitely be like Elite Eight type teams. But what are your thoughts on them after week 1?
Yeah. So, man, like it was weird seeing Gonzaga and North Carolina right down at the kind of the tail end. It didn't feel like that was right, but then there were question marks. But now they're both big risers. So, for the Bulldogs, pretty impressive, knocking off a solid Oklahoma team by 15 last night. Huff and Ike combining for 32 and 20. Mario St. Superi, he looks like the answer at point guard. UNC, we mentioned earlier, looked great. Obviously, Caleb Wilson, but Henry Visard, like what a pickup for them. That Trimble injury, we're going to see how they kind of respond to that. No Trimble, no ranking. I don't know about that, man. Like they got. Dude, that's what we're talking about all offseason. ACC, and for the ACC, like they have top 5 roster talent. So I don't think it's going to hurt them as much as everyone's going to react. St. John's falling down 4 spots. Big question marks at point guard, man. They still loom defensively. They were kind of just giving it up, but I think that has more to do with Alabama's backcourt, which we talked about. Plenty of time for Patino to get this corrected, man. Cam's jumping in talking about his boy Dixon. So yeah, they have talent, and they're not even really using Powell. So those guys will probably come in, and we'll see. Well, they're going to have to play now.
Randy also hopping in the live chat saying Illinois is going to be hard to
match up Merkovich, with. Baby. Merkovich season. Guy's a beast.
It was Mark's season for sure. Excellent stuff, Randy. Keep the live chat rolling. Cam and Darren hopping in there as well. Let's get to the next 5 here, numbers 6 through 10 on our countdown. Alabama, you led off with them on the what was it called? The opening possession, of course. Yes. How could I forget the first time we ran that segment? You talked about Alabama. They're at number 6. What are your thoughts on the Crimson Tide and everyone else on this one?
Yeah, so the 2 big risers in this tier, Arizona and Alabama, climbing in after really impressive weeks. I mean, Alabama early looks like a legit national title contender. If they get anything out of that 5 spot, like look out. They kind of remind me a little bit of Florida last year with that backcourt. So, might be early. We'll pump the brakes a little bit. Arizona, right? They just beat the defending champs there. Looked super impressive. And man, the thing that sticks out is these freshmen are just ready to play. Pete, Berries, Karchinkov, like these guys are the real deal here, man. So Kentucky sliding down one spot. They really haven't played anybody the first couple of games, but that all changes, like we talked about when they get Louisville on Tuesday, and then BYU kind of remaining unchanged. And offensively, they're a top 10 team. Their overall profile is going to get put to test. They play UConn this weekend, so that's going to be a fun one to watch.
No doubt about it. And then the creme de la creme, the best of the best, capped off, of course. Oh yeah, are we going one by one in the top five?
Why
Is that, do
not?
we get the special treatment
We'll get
here?
the
Oh, I
special
love it. I
treatment.
love the countdown. Okay, Mike. Well, how about, we got number 5 here. Florida. Shout out to the Gators here. I mean, this was that loss to Arizona. Obviously, they're not undefeated, I guess, but I mean, this is a good team.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to fall down a few spots, right? Losing to Arizona, but I mean, still believe they're a top 5 team. Season's going to come down to whether Xavier Lee and his progression at the P5 level. What's that going to look like, man? That's going to be huge for them because that front court is just going to be dominant.
Michigan at 4, and then Purdue at 3. Maybe some question marks defensively for the Boilermakers, Mike?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Like we don't really know because TKR's been out, right? But they're giving up a lot of points, man. Now they're number 1 in offensive efficiency. We're gonna see what this looks like when they get TKR back and they try to play him and Clough together. Because right now they had Jack Benter shooting up threes at that 4 spot, which looks like Cam Heidi from last year. So we're gonna really see what Purdue's all about here pretty soon, man.
No doubt about it. Coming in at number 2, of course, is Duke right there. Boom, on the screen. Cam Boozer doing his thing. I mentioned him in my opening possession segment there. He's doing his thing. And then, there's another Boozer on campus too, Mike, that
Yeah.
is, before long is going to be sharing a lot more playing time with
Yeah.
with Cam. And then number 1, Mike, it is North Texas. No, I'm just kidding. It's the University of Houston, of course, hanging around at number 1.
Yeah, man. They'd have 2 freshmen starting, so the offensive profile is going to take a little while for it to gel. But JoJo Tugler in like this high usage role, it looks pretty good, man. They obviously have Sharp and Uzin, so look, man, the offense can take as long as it wants because they have the number 1 defense in the country already, right? Defensive efficiency number 1 and adjusted. So yeah, Houston's still holding on to that number 1 spot, man. So I can't wait, man. There's some really good matchups on tap for this coming week. So can't wait to see what next week's power rankings looks like. Because the first couple of weeks, Jay, it's always going to be a real roller coaster, especially here in the top 10. So yeah, it's good stuff, man. That was awesome, man. That's kind of a new look at our Sunday recaps, man.
No doubt about it. Loving that opening segment there with the opening possession, and then we'll have something right in the middle where it's a mid-major minute, maybe a conductor's
Yeah,
corner. Who
we're still
knows?
working out everything, like
Who knows?
like the Lancers in the in the Big West, and
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But of course, we're going to be bringing this to you all the time, all the good info, all the DFS info, all the live reactions you can handle. So make sure you push all those buttons, like, subscribe, notification bells. Shout out to our guy at Fantasy Nav for getting the studio together. Shout out to our guy Nate pushing the buttons tonight behind the scenes. And shout out to this man sharing the screen with me, the comma chaser, El Capitan himself, the captain of the one and done ship. You won't want to miss a minute of what we're doing all season long here on One and Done. So make sure you push those buttons. Join like 1,649, 50, 51. Who knows? Of your fellow hoop heads, and tell somebody about us. We definitely appreciate that. Until next time, we'll see you for some live reactions and some DFS. Who knows? Just hit the button. You'll find out. My name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. Peace.